Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Days of Our Lives. Latest episode, the drama in Salem is reaching a boiling point, and at the center of it all stands Brady Black, a man who has spent years torn between guilt, love, responsibility, and fear. But now, as the chaos surrounding his daughter Rachel grows darker and more dangerous by the day, one question is echoing louder than ever across Days of Our Lives fans everywhere. Will Brady finally draw the line with Rachel, or will his silence and hesitation cost him everything? For a long time, Brady Black has been known as a man who tries to do the right thing, even when the right thing hurts. He has struggled with addiction, loss, heartbreak, and betrayal, yet somehow always found his way back to his moral compass. But when it comes to Rachel, that compass has been spinning wildly out of control. Rachel is no longer just a troubled child acting out. She has become a ticking time bomb in Salem, and Brady knows it, even if he refuses to say it out loud. Rachel's behavior has crossed lines that can no longer be dismissed as simple childhood trauma. Manipulation, emotional cruelty, calculated lies, and disturbing patterns of control have become part of her daily interactions. And while others in Salem are beginning to see the truth, Brady remains frozen caught between being a father and being an enabler. Every time Rachel lashes out, Brady excuses it. Every time she causes harm, he blames circumstances. Every time someone suggests real consequences, Brady deflects. But the walls are closing in, and the cost of his inaction is growing heavier by the moment. Those closest to Brady are starting to lose patience. Chloe has tried reason. John and Marlena have tried guidance. Even characters who once showed endless compassion are beginning to ask the same uncomfortable question. At what point does protecting your child become endangering everyone else? Rachel has learned one terrifying lesson. Extremely well, she knows her father will always choose her, no matter what she does. And that knowledge has become her greatest weapon. She uses it to manipulate situations, control narratives, and push people out of Brady's life. Friends disappear. Romantic relationships implode. Trust erodes. And Brady keeps paying the price, convinced that love means never saying no. But Salem has seen this story before. We have seen children grow into villains because no one stopped them when it mattered most. We have seen parents who believed they were helping, only to realize too late that they were fueling destruction, and the parallels are becoming impossible to ignore. Recent spoilers suggest that Rachel may soon cross a line so severe that even Brady can no longer pretend everything is fixable with patience and love alone. The incident, still shrouded in secrecy, reportedly puts another character in serious emotional or physical danger. This time, there are witnesses. This time, there are consequences. And this time, Brady cannot shield Rachel without sacrificing his integrity entirely. What makes this turning point so powerful is not just Rachel's actions, but Brady's reaction or lack thereof. When confronted with undeniable evidence, Brady is forced into an emotional corner he has avoided for years. He must face the truth that his daughter is not just hurting others. She is hurting herself, and he may be the reason she has never been stopped. The internal battle Brady faces is heartbreaking. On one hand, he sees the frightened child who lost her mother, who feels abandoned, who is desperate for control in a world she doesn't understand. On the other hand, he sees the damage, the fear in other people's eyes, the trail of broken trust, the growing sense that something truly dark is taking hold. Marlena, ever the voice of reason, may finally say what no one else has had the courage to say outright. Love without boundaries is not love, it is abandonment, disguised as protection. And for Brady, hearing those words could be the emotional earthquake that changes everything. Spoilers hint that Brady may soon be faced with an impossible decision. Allow Rachel to face professional intervention, possibly even institutional help, or lose the remaining stability in his own life. This is not about punishment. This is about acknowledging that he cannot fix this alone, and that pretending otherwise is destroying them both. But drawing the line with Rachel will not be easy. She will fight it with everything she has. Tears will turn to rage. Guilt will become her sharpest weapon. She will remind Brady of every promise he ever made, every loss she ever suffered, every reason he ever felt responsible for her pain. And Brady will nearly break under the weight of it. Yet this time, something may be different. This time, Brady may finally realize that saying no does not mean he loves her less. It means he loves her enough to stop the cycle before it consumes them both. The fallout from this decision would be massive. Rachel's reaction could be explosive. Relationships across Salem would shift overnight. Some would applaud Brady for finally stepping up as a true parent. Others would condemn him for not acting sooner, and Brady himself would be left standing in the wreckage, wondering if he made the right choice or waited far too long. There is also the chilling possibility that Brady may hesitate one last time, and that hesitation could lead to irreversible consequences. Days of Our Lives thrives on tragedy born from delayed decisions. And fans know all too well that Salem rarely offers second chances when the warning signs are ignored. If Brady draws the line, it could mark the beginning of Rachel's redemption arc, the spark that sends her spiraling even further into darkness. Either way, nothing will ever be the same again. This storyline is not just about a father and daughter. It is about accountability, boundaries, and the terrifying realization that love alone is not always enough to save someone. As this storyline unfolds, viewers are being asked to confront uncomfortable truths alongside Brady. How far would you go to protect your child? When does protection become harm? And if the person you love most becomes the greatest threat, do you have the strength to stop them? Days of Our Lives is setting the stage for one of its most emotionally charged storylines in years, and Brady Black stands at the center of it, facing a decision that will define his legacy forever. Whether he finally draws the line with Rachel or continues down the path of denial, the consequences are coming, and Salem will never be the same again. And just when it seems like Brady Black has finally reached the emotional crossroads of his life, Salem begins to close in around him, forcing every unspoken fear and buried truth straight into the open. Because drawing a line with Rachel is not just a personal decision anymore, has become a public reckoning, one that threatens to tear apart families, friendships, and the fragile peace of an entire town. In the days that follow the shocking incident, whispers spread quickly through Salem. People talk. People judge. And for the first time, the conversation is no longer about whether Rachel is troubled. It is about whether Brady has failed her in the worst way possible. Every glance Brady receives feels heavier than the last, filled with accusation, disappointment, and quiet outrage. Rachel, sensing the shift, changes her tactics. Gone is the vulnerable child act. Instead, she becomes cold, defensive, and eerily composed. She watches Brady closely, measuring his reactions, waiting to see if this is another moment where he will bend, apologize, and choose silence over action. And at first it almost looks like he might, but something inside Brady has cracked open. The guilt that once kept him frozen has transformed into something far more dangerous: clarity. For the first time, he begins to see the full picture. Not just isolated moments of bad behavior, but a pattern that stretches back years. Every lie covered up. Every consequence avoided. Every warning ignored, and the realization is devastating. John confronts Brady in a moment that feels less like advice and more like an intervention. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't accuse. He simply asks one question that hits harder than any accusation ever could. If Rachel weren't your daughter, would you still defend what she's done? Brady has no answer, because deep down he knows the truth. Marlena, watching from the sidelines, understands that Brady is standing on the edge of a decision that will define not only Rachel's future, but his own. She gently pushes him to consider something he has spent years avoiding: that love does not mean shielding someone from reality. Sometimes, love means being the one who introduces it. Meanwhile, Rachel's behavior escalates. Her anger sharpens. Her words become more calculated. She lashes out at anyone she believes is influencing Brady, accusing them of turning him against her, of wanting to take him away. The emotional manipulation is intense, and for a moment, Brady almost gives in again. Almost. But then comes the moment that changes everything. Rachel crosses one final, unforgivable line, one that cannot be undone, explained away, or softened. The damage is real. The fear it causes is visible, and Brady is forced to confront a truth he can no longer escape, if he does nothing now. The next outcome could be catastrophic. This is where Brady finally draws the line. Not with anger, not with cruelty, but with resolve. In a heartbreaking confrontation, Brady tells Rachel the words she has never heard from him before. I can't protect you from this anymore. The shock on Rachel's face is immediate. She doesn't cry at first. She stares at him as if waiting for the punchline for him to take it back. When he doesn't, the meltdown begins. She accuses him of betrayal. She brings up her mother. She reminds him of every promise he ever made. She weaponizes his guilt with precision, and Brady feels every word like a knife. But this time he doesn't retreat. Instead, he tells her the truth, the kind of truth that hurts because it's real. He tells her that he loves her too much to let her destroy herself and everyone around her. He tells her that she needs help he cannot give her, and he tells her that this is not a punishment. It is a chance. The fallout is immediate and explosive. Some in Salem are stunned by Brady's decision. Others feel relief. A few are openly angry that it took this long. Relationships shift overnight. Trust begins to rebuild in some places, while resentment deepens in others. And Rachel, faced with boundaries for the first time in her life, spirals in ways no one fully anticipated. That the question now is not whether Brady drew the line, but whether Rachel will accept it or fight it with everything she has. Spoilers suggest that Rachel's next move could define her future permanently. Will she finally confront her own darkness and begin the long road to healing? Or will this rejection push her into a place she may never return from? And Brady. He is left standing in the aftermath, questioning everything. Did he act too late? Did he do enough? Or did he wait until the damage was already done? Days of Our Lives thrives on moral gray areas, and this storyline is a perfect example. There are no easy answers, no clean victories, only consequences, choices, and the haunting reality that love does not guarantee salvation. As Salem braces for what comes next, one thing is clear: Brady Black will never be the same again, and neither will Rachel. Whether this marks the beginning of redemption or the birth of a new villain, the line has been drawn, and once crossed, there is no going back. Once the line has been drawn, there is no undo button in Salem, and for Brady Black, the consequences of finally standing firm with Rachel begin to unfold faster and darker than anyone expected. What he believed would bring clarity instead opens the door to chaos, forcing him to confront the terrifying possibility that doing the right thing may come at the highest possible cost. Rachel does not respond to boundaries the way most people would. Instead of reflection, she retreats inward, her silence louder than any scream. She watches, she listens, she calculates, and those closest to her begin to sense something deeply unsettling beneath the surface. This is no longer a child reacting emotionally, this is someone who feels cornered, someone who believes she has been wronged. Brady notices the shift almost immediately. The anger is gone, the tears have stopped. In their place is a chilling calm that makes his stomach turn. He tells himself this is progress, that maybe she is finally processing what's happened. But deep down, he knows better. Salem has taught him that silence often precedes disaster. Marlena voices the fear Brady is too afraid to say out loud. She warns him that Rachel's emotional state is fragile, but also volatile. Years of unchecked behavior combined with sudden boundaries can trigger extreme reactions. And once again, Brady is haunted by the same question: did he act too late? As tension builds, Rachel begins isolating herself from everyone except Brady. She speaks softly now, choosing her words carefully, presenting herself as cooperative, even remorseful. It's a performance, and Brady senses it. But hope clouds his judgment. He wants to believe that this is the beginning of healing, not another manipulation. Meanwhile, Salem is divided. Some characters believe Brady's decision was long overdue. Others believe he pushed Rachel too hard, too fast. Old wounds resurface. Blame is passed around. And through it all, Rachel watches the cracks form, quietly learning how much power she still holds. Then comes the moment no one sees coming. A sudden incident shakes Salem to its core, one that places Rachel directly at the center of suspicion. The details are disturbing, the implications even worse. And for the first time, Brady cannot deny the truth staring him in the face. This was not an accident. This was intentional. The realization breaks him in an emotionally devastating scene. Brady is forced to confront Rachel with evidence he cannot ignore. There are no excuses left, no alternative explanations, and when Rachel realizes that even Brady can no longer save her, something inside her finally snaps. She unleashes years of bottled rage, accusing him of abandoning her, of choosing everyone else over her pain. She tells him that if he had truly loved her, he would have protected her no matter what. And in that moment, Brady understands the most painful truth of all. Rachel has learned to equate love with control. This is the turning point. Brady doesn't argue. He doesn't defend himself. Instead, he does the one thing Rachel never expected. He accepts responsibility. He admits his mistakes. He admits that he failed her by not acting sooner. But he also makes it clear that the cycle ends now. And that terrifies Rachel, because without control, without manipulation, without Brady's blind loyalty, she is forced to face herself. And she doesn't like what she sees. Spoilers hint that Rachel may attempt one final desperate move to regain power, one that could put multiple lives at risk. Whether this is an emotional breakdown, a calculated act, or something even more dangerous remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: Salem is bracing for impact. Brady, torn apart by fear and love, prepares himself for the worst. He knows that whatever comes next may cost him his relationship with his daughter forever. But, for the first time, he refuses to back down. This storyline is no longer just about Rachel's behavior. It's about accountability, consequences, and the painful reality that some lessons come only after irreversible damage has been done. As Days of Our Lives moves toward its next explosive chapter, viewers are left holding their breath. Will Rachel finally face the help she needs? Or will her need for control push her beyond redemption? Will Brady's strength come in time to save them both? Or will this be the moment that defines their tragedy forever? One thing is clear: Salem will never return to the way it was before Brady drew the line. The ripple effects of that decision will be felt for years to come, and as the dust begins to settle, a haunting question lingers in the air. When love and fear collide, which one truly wins?